Thank you for being here. Are you looking at a way whereby you can create more than 100 email addresses, or you have multiple domains and you want to create email addresses? Then this video is for you. I'm sure you ever come across other providers whereby you're being charged at $6 per email address. If you have 100 email addresses and you have multiple domains that you want to create email addresses from, it can be cost exorbitant. So I want to show you ways through which you can avoid that cost effectively and very efficiently. So what are the steps? We're going to do this in 3 steps. The first step is we're going to get a domain and a VPS. If you have multiple domains, well and good, you don't need to buy extra domains, but we need a VPS. And I've always recommended that if you want a VPS that you can send cold emails, or you can use for anything related to cold emails, the best place to do that is Emailbelt. I'm going to leave the link in the description for you. And then you can get a VPS, and you can also buy domains for your cold emails. So we have our VPS ready. After we have our VPS ready, the next step that we're going to have is we are going to install a CyberPanel. And the next step, we are going to add DNS records. And lastly, the final step is we are going to either send emails from there or add that email address to a different sender. So stay with me to the end and you'll be able to see how that happens. So we already have our VPS and our domain ready. So the next thing is we're going to install a CyberPanel VPS. I've already done a video on how to install CyberPanel so I'm not going to repeat that. I'm also going to leave the link in the description so that you see how it goes. Once you install CyberPanel, this is how it looks like. This is the dashboard for the CyberPanel. Looks like, if you're familiar with cPanel, looks something familiar and the functionalities are almost common. So this is our CyberPanel. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to add the domain that you want to create different email addresses. If you come here, you're going to come at websites, and then you're going to create a website. For the purposes of the demonstration, I'm going to use this domain here on peter.com. So back to this default admin, going to put it as on peter.com there, and then you can use the email address you want to create. For instance, or the admin email for that matter. The next thing that you want to do is select the PHP. I recommend you use 8.0 or higher, and then you're going to select SSL, DKIM support, open-based DIL protection, and then create a mail domain. Select those 4, and then the next thing you're going to do is create a website. It takes a few seconds to do that. If you come here, I'm gonna open a new tab. If you come here, you'll be able to see have been able to add multiple. If you look at these, I have multiple domains that I've added here. It's the same concept whereby you can add as many domains as you want, and you can create as many email addresses as you may want to do that. So there you go. If we come back here, we'll be able to see whether it has been set up. It's still setting up the SSL. As that continues, other things I need to take care of is the DNS record. So we're going to come to the DNS, the registrar here, Emailbelt. I'd already added 2 DNS records. We have the mail at that, and then we also have I'd also added an A record. This is the A record. The other records that one needs to add when it comes to emails, you need the SPF, you need the DKIM, you need the DMARC, you need the MX record, and you need an A record. So those are the main records that you need to add. So the first record here is mail at pointed to the IP. The second one is the A record pointed to the IP. The next one that I want to add here is the SPF record. For the SPF, I want to modify this so that I can be able to add the IP. So you just add IP4 and then you put in the IP address. So that is for the SPF. And then you hit save. The next one that I want to add is the DKAM or DMAC. I want to first add the DMAC. So let me put it's a TXT. It's underscore DMAC. With that, let me get it for us. Let me get the actual record for us. Even as that continues, it's worth noting that a cold email is one of the most effective and in terms of cost of getting new clients. So it's something that you may want to give a shot if you want to get more, if you want to do more outreach at a very cost-effective manner. You cannot ignore cold email at all. So I have my DMAC record. You can use none or quarantine, so I'm gonna save that. Right, as that happens, we can still check if our domain has been added. It has been successfully installed. The next thing I want to do is I want to pick the DNS record. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to pick the DKAM, sorry. So this is our domain. You go to TXT and then you pick the DKAM record. So you come to your registrar. It's a TXT record. You paste that. Always ensure that there are no gaps. So I usually prefer removing the spaces. So I'm gonna remove this, that, check if there are any other spaces. If there are none, then we'll be good to go. I also want to remove that. And it seems good. Don't forget to add the first part of the record. I'm gonna pick it. All right, let me pick the first part of the record, which is here. Don't copy the entire of it. You just need the first part here. Come to your domain and then you paste that there, and then you hit save changes. So it's worth noting that there are other records here. So, but I'm gonna give you a quick. I'm gonna remove this one and have it as mail dot the domain. I'll do a quick recap so that you are able to know the records that you're supposed to add. So not to worry about that. All right. In terms of the records you need to add in the registrar, you need this mail pointed to the domain. The second one you need is an A record, again pointed to the IP. The other one is MX record. it will be mail dot the domain, and the priority is 10. The next one is the next one that you need is for the DKIM. You need to add the DKIM there. The other one you need is the SPF. The other one you need is for the DMARC. Those are the records that you need to add. So if we come back to our panel here, you come to email. It's now time to create the email addresses, and then you're going to say create email address, and then you pick your domain. As you can see, I have many domains that I've added here. It shows you as many domains as you want. You'll be able to create them. And now here is where you create any email address that you want. And we're talking about unlimited business email addresses. If you are to use another provider, you could have been charged per user. But in this case, that's not the case. So you can have any, and we mean any, that you want. And then you have your password that is created. You can create another one, and then that's created. You can create another one that's created, as many as you may want. The next thing that you want to do is you want to add the email SSL. You add with mail server SSL, so that you come here, you go to, it is mail dot the domain, you add that. The other one that you want to add is hostname SSL as well. We're going to do that right now. So let me open in a new tab. Hostname SSL. Again, it is mail dot the domain, mail dot, I'm looking for mail dot computer. Here you go, SSL. There you go. We have we now have our hostname SSL. We have the mail server SSL, and then we are good to go. So from here, that's how you create multiple email addresses. So the next phase is, how do you access those email addresses, or how can you use those email address to send emails in a different environment? For instance, assume you have a sender. In our case, we are going to try to use these emails in a different platform. This is called Mailwiz. We can do this installation for you. Also leave the link in the description just in case you need us to do the installation for you. I'm going to say create new server. It's an SMTP. The username are the emails that I've created. I've created this one, for instance. And then you put in the password. Again, the same email. This platform is called Mailwiz. It's one of the best when it comes to cold emails. For ports, I'm going to use 587, and then I'm going to choose TLS, and then you can choose daily quota and all of that. Post after send. I usually recommend sending an email after every 5 minutes, so this is microseconds, so I'm going to put 300 million microseconds, which is equivalent to 5 minutes. And then host name is going to be this, mail of the domain. And then we have the name here. This is the name of for identification purposes, SMTP in case you have multiple SMTP. And here, this is the from name. And then you're able to hit save. Right. So in this case, you need to validate, and also don't forget it's also a good practice to have a bound server. You can always, and the beauty about having this platform is you can always create a bound server here. You just come back here, create email. We have been logged out. Let's log in again. There we go. Create email. You choose the domain. And Peter, you create a bound server. And then you are able to add that. So, gonna come back here. Come to bound server. And to replicate that, and to update this. Our domain is this one. This is our password. And the rest of the details are going to remain that way. And then I'm going to hit save. It's on peter.com, sorry. All right, we have added the bound server. So if we come back to the delivery server, here you go, update. You can choose the bound server from here. Let me confirm which one it is. Let me give it a different name. For ease of identification. Save changes. And then delivery servers. Activate here. Right. Haven't I activated it? It's disabled. Let me enable it, sorry. Yeah, should be able to pick it now. There you go. We have our bound server ready. Are we going to save this again? And we are going to activate. By activation, this is where you send to an email you can access, and then you're able to click on the link that is sent to that email. So